Welcome back to Drive and RPM. For the last 10 years, the automotive industry has been selling us a lie. Not a malicious lie, perhaps, but a convenient one. They told us that the transition to electric vehicles would be linear. They told us that by 2026, range anxiety would be a historical footnote. They told us that solid-state batteries were just around the corner, and that charging infrastructure would magically appear on every street corner from London to Lisbon. But look around you. The reality is messy. Governments are cutting subsidies. Legacy manufacturers like Ford and Volkswagen are scaling back their EV ambitions. The public is voting with their wallets, and they are hesitant. Why? Because the fundamental physics of energy density haven't changed. A petrol tank holds 40 times more energy per kilogram than the best lithium-ion battery. And until today, choosing an EV meant choosing a compromise. But while the West has been arguing about tariffs and timelines, something extraordinary has happened in Hangzhou. Geely, the owner of Volvo, Polestar, and Lotus, has quietly engineered a solution that doesn't just nudge the goalposts, it rips them out of the ground. Today, we are looking at a vehicle that renders the entire debate obsolete. This is the new Geely Boyue EREV. The headline figures are numbers that shouldn't exist in a mass production car. 1,525 kilometers of combined range. That is nearly 1,000 miles. But the number that threatens to bankrupt legacy automakers is 375. That is the pure electric range of this hybrid. Today, we are going to do a deep forensic analysis of this machine. We are going to tear down the NordThor EM-i powertrain, dissect the Aegis short blade battery chemistry, and explain why this specific vehicle proves that the internal combustion engine isn't dead. It has just found a new job description. To understand why this car is a revolution, we first need to understand the failure of the cars that came before it. For years, the plug-in hybrid, or PHEV, was the bridge technology. Cars like the Toyota RAV4 Prime or the BMW X5 xDrive 5e. These are parallel hybrids. They are complex mechanical marriages where a petrol engine and an electric motor fight for space under the bonnet. They are connected by heavy gearboxes, clutches, and drive shafts. When you floor the throttle, the engine screams, the gears drop, and the efficiency plummets. They are compromised. The Geely Boyue is not a PHEV. It is an EREV, an extended range electric vehicle. This is a critical distinction that most mainstream media outlets miss. In this architecture, the combustion engine you see under the bonnet has been demoted. It has no physical connection to the wheels. There is no drive shaft sending power to the tires. The engine is strictly a generator. It is a portable power station bolted to the subframe. Why does this matter? It matters because of thermodynamics. An engine that has to drive wheels is an engine that suffers. It has to deal with cold starts. It has to idle at traffic lights. It has to rev to 5,000 RPM to overtake a lorry. All of these states are inefficient. A petrol engine is only efficient in a very narrow band of RPM, usually around 2,500 revolutions per minute. By disconnecting the engine from the wheels, Geely has allowed it to live in that Goldilocks zone forever. The engine in this car, the BHE15 BFN 1.5-liter unit, operates on the Miller cycle with an extremely high compression ratio. Because it never has to accelerate the car, it can run at a constant, steady state. This allows Geely to achieve a thermal efficiency of 46.5%. Let me put that into perspective for you. The average petrol engine in a Ford or a Volkswagen has a thermal efficiency of about 30%. That means 70% of the fuel you pay for is wasted as heat and noise. The best Formula One engines in the world hover around 50%. Geely creates a mass production SUV that sits at 46.5%. This is engineering witchcraft. It squeezes every last joule of energy out of every drop of petrol, converting it directly into electrons to feed the battery. And let's talk about that battery, because this is where the super hybrid designation comes from. Historically, hybrids had tiny batteries. You got maybe 50 kilometers of range if you were lucky. Geely has leveraged their internal battery division to fit a pack that we estimate to be around 60 kilowatt hours. This is not a hybrid battery. This is an EV battery. It is the same size as the pack you would find in a Tesla Model 3 standard range. But Geely has put it inside a car that also carries a fuel tank. This is achieved using their new Aegis short blade technology. These are lithium iron phosphate, LFP cells. Now, historically, LFP batteries were seen as the budget option. They were heavy, they didn't like the cold, and they had lower energy density than the nickel-cobalt batteries used by high-end EVs. But Geely has solved the packaging problem by using a cell-to-body architecture, where the battery pack is structurally integrated into the chassis of the car. They have eliminated the wasted space of modules and cooling plates. They have achieved an energy density of 192 watt-hours per kilogram. This massive capacity changes the psychology of ownership. If you own a Toyota Prius, the engine turns on every time you merge onto a motorway. If you own this Geely, the engine might not turn on for 3 weeks. If your daily commute is 50 kilometers, you are driving a pure electric car. You are charging at home, driving on electrons, and emitting zero tailpipe emissions. The petrol engine is dead weight. It is simply an insurance policy that you drag around. But the moment you decide to drive from London to Edinburgh, or from Paris to Berlin, that insurance policy pays out. You don't have to plan your route around charging stations. You don't have to download 12 different apps to pay for electricity. You just drive. When the battery gets low, the generator wakes up imperceptibly and holds the charge steady. It is the ultimate freedom. Visually, the car tells a story of this efficiency. The design language is what Geely calls Starburst, derived from their Galaxy sub-brand. It is sleek, aerodynamic, and unapologetically futuristic. Notice the front grille, or rather, the lack of one. Because the engine runs at a steady state, the cooling requirements are significantly lower than a traditional internal combustion car. This allows Geely to close off the front end, dramatically lowering the drag coefficient. The air curtains on the bumper guide airflow around the turbulent wheel wells. Every millimeter of this car has been sculpted in a wind tunnel to reduce energy consumption at highway speeds. Stepping inside, we see the result of one of the most interesting business moves of the decade, Geely's acquisition of the smartphone manufacturer Meizu. While Volkswagen struggles with software glitches and laggy interfaces, the Boyue EREV runs on Flyme Auto. This system is built on a dedicated automotive chip. The E04 providing smartphone-level responsiveness. The integration is absolute. If you are navigating on your phone while walking to the car, the map seamlessly expands onto the 15.4-inch central screen the moment you open the door. The voice assistant uses a large language model to understand natural speech patterns. It is not just, turn on the AC. You can say, I'm a bit cold, and it adjusts the climate control and heated seats intelligently. This level of software competence is usually reserved for tech giants like Xiaomi or Huawei. But Geely has brought it in-house, and we cannot discuss a Geely product without mentioning the elephant in the room: safety. The ghost of Volvo is present in every weld and every sensor of this car. The Boyue EREV sits on an architecture that is derived from the CMA platform, Compact Modular Architecture, which was co-developed with Volvo in Sweden. But the specific concern with hybrids is battery safety. Geely has subjected the Aegis battery system to what they call the 4 great tortures. They have fired needles into it, causing short circuits with no fire. They have crushed it with 10 tons of force. They have submerged it in seawater for 24 hours. They have even subjected it to extreme thermal shock. The LFP chemistry is inherently more stable than the nickel-cobalt batteries used by Tesla or Kia. This zero thermal runaway promise is a massive selling point in markets where EV fires make headline news. So, who should be worried about this car? Everyone. But specifically, Toyota, and BYD. Let's look at the BYD Song Plus, also known as the Celion 6. For the last 2 years, it has been the global benchmark for hybrids with its DMI system. But BYD uses a parallel hybrid architecture, where the engine can drive the wheels. Geely argues that their series hybrid approach is smoother and offers a better electric-only range. The BYD tops out at around 150 to 200 kilometers of electric range. Geely is offering nearly double that. This positions the Boyue EREV as a superior EV compared to the BYD, which is still marketed as a superior hybrid. And if we compare this to the European and Japanese competition, it's a bloodbath. The Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid is a fantastic car, known for its reliability. But it offers roughly 75 kilometers of electric range. It uses a complicated planetary gear set. Its infotainment feels a generation behind. The Geely offers 5 times the electric range, superior software, and a more modern interior, likely for a significantly lower price point. This brings us to the geopolitical context. Why does this car matter for the world? We are in the middle of a trade war. The European Union and the United States are erecting tariff walls against Chinese EVs. However, hybrids often fall into different tariff categories or are seen as transitional technologies that are less threatening. By exporting EREVs, Geely can bypass some of the pure EV hysteria while still delivering an electric experience. Furthermore, in markets with poor charging infrastructure, like South America, Southeast Asia, and parts of Eastern Europe, this vehicle is the perfect bridge. It doesn't require the government to build grid infrastructure. It brings its own power station. It democratizes the electric driving experience for people who live in apartments, people who park on the street, and people who live in rural areas. There is also the economic argument. If you drive 50 kilometers a day, which is the global average, you will charge this car once a week. You will effectively never buy petrol. Your running costs will be roughly 1/5 of a petrol vehicle. However, unlike a pure EV owner, you never have to rent a car for a holiday. You never have to worry about cold weather reducing your range by 30% because the engine waste heat can be used to warm the battery and the cabin. It is the most economically rational choice for a one-car household in 2026. We expect this vehicle to launch globally under different names. In some markets, it will be the new Geely Starray. In others, it might fall under the Galaxy brand. There is even a possibility it could be rebadged for Lynk & Co. But the hardware will remain the same. This is a global world car, designed from day one to meet Euro NCAP 5-star safety ratings and to comply with stringent emissions regulations. In conclusion, the Geely Boyue EREV is more than just a car. It is a statement. It is a warning shot to every legacy manufacturer in Germany, Japan, and America. It proves that the Chinese automotive industry is no longer just copying. They are innovating in segments that the West has abandoned. While Ford and GM are pulling back on EV investments and pivoting back to simple hybrids, Geely is pushing forward with a technology that makes sense for the real world right now. By giving us a car with 375 kilometers of electric range, they have effectively given us an EV. But by adding that petrol generator and pushing the total range to over 1,500 kilometers, they have given us freedom. They have removed the anxiety. They have removed the compromise. Is this the perfect car? We will have to wait for a full long-term test to see if the reliability holds up. But on paper, and in the initial technical breakdown, it seems to be in a class of 1. The bar has been raised. 375 kilometers is the new standard. Anything less is yesterday's technology. Thank you for watching this deep dive on drive and RPM. If you want to understand the engineering behind the cars of tomorrow, make sure you are subscribed. We don't just read the press release. We explain the physics. I will see you in the next video.